Hi everyone, my name is Anna and I'm a graduate scientist from the University of Cambridge and now an educational consultant. And this is the second installment of my personal development book club in which we'll be discussing the book called Make Time. So without further ado, let's get into it. Have you ever felt that you do so many things throughout the day that you actually don't get much done? And then by the end of the day, you have this feeling of an accomplishment. And this feeling actually is very common. Many of us share it, and I often felt that way too. And we basically have our endless to-do lists that we just basically get increasingly long. And this fantastic book basically discusses on how to make more time during the day so we enjoy our work and we spend more time doing things that we really like. Let's get into the tips that really resonated with me and really helped me to improve my daily routine and create more time for myself. Tip number 1, adopt highlight of the day system. So the authors, Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky, they discuss and suggest this new idea of having a daily highlight. So the idea and the principle behind it is follows, that you basically plan to do one thing throughout the day, which is what we're going to call your highlight, and this task would take maybe between 60 to 90 minutes. And once you accomplish that, you feel great about yourself, and then anything else on your to-do list is just secondary. I love this system and I think it's quite new and unique. However, I personally struggle with having a single highlight of the day. I changed the system by having 3 highlights during the day. So one for my work, one for my personal development because I love learning, and third is for family, where I get to spend time with my family and my lovely dog. And once I actually pre-plan those highlights, then once I accomplish these things, then it makes me feel great. And then if I haven't finished something on my to-do list, that's just secondary and I can finish it at a later date. This brings us to tip number 2, schedule time for your highlight in your diary. So it's great to decide on the highlight, so it's going to be the main task of your day, or maybe you're going to have few highlights of the day. However, it's really important to schedule the time when you're actually going to get this highlight done. And it's important to realize that this time is going to be your sacred time. It's dedicated to your highlight and nothing is going to change your mind and distract you during that. So let's say that the task might take 60 to 90 minutes. So it's important to basically dedicate that time during the day. And it's for you to decide when to do the highlight. This idea that some people might work better in the mornings or in the evenings is quite important because it's been proven now that whether you're a morning person or an evening person, it's actually genetically predetermined. So I really struggle in the mornings. And for me, I'd rather have my highlight maybe in the late morning. Okay, some people work better in the evenings or just throughout the day. Some people might work better in the mornings. But you need to decide and to find out the time that suits you the most. And stop comparing yourself against other people. And I try to wake up at ridiculous times like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and it just couldn't work. So find the best time that works for you, dedicate to your highlight and get your task done. This brings us to my tip number 3, skip the morning check-in. The idea is stop checking your phone first thing in the morning. Why would you? So I'm so guilty of this habit. I wake up and straight away I check my emails, I check YouTube, I check so many other maybe different social media accounts. Basically, you overload your own brain with so much irrelevant information as soon as you wake up. So why not to skip the media check-in in the morning? So you wake up, maybe make a lovely cup of coffee or tea, have breakfast, and just get on with your highlight directly. And any social media or emails can be checked after you accomplish your highlight. And I'm adopting this system and it's working brilliantly for me. Tip number 4, ignore daily news. This is probably the most useful tip that I actually learned from this book. So checking news is such a common habit. Everyone does it. But it doesn't really change our life so much. And I find that the daily news in general are actually quite negative. So why do you need to feed your daily life with extra negativity? You're not going to miss something important And if you do, your friends are going to tell you and everyone's going to know about it. And to be honest, it doesn't really require your attention so much. So why not to find a news agency that you really like? You could subscribe to their weekly newsletter or subscribe to a weekly paper hard copy magazine, which I do. I subscribe to Spectator, and read those news instead. Because by wasting your time checking the news, you are losing your time and you're bringing extra negative energy, which is just unnecessary. And by this way, you can create more time during the day. My tip number 5 is delete social media apps from your phone. The rule is simple. If you want to create more time throughout your day, then stop checking social media. And the most convenient way to check social media is to use our phones. So what I did, I deleted all social media accounts on my phone, and I now schedule the technology breaks into my work routine. So what I would recommend, especially if you're studying or working, that maybe you work for 50 minutes and then you say, okay, 10 minutes to 15 minutes, you're going to have a break. And if you really need to, and you kind of craving checking social media, which is fine, then you use that time to do it then. Because otherwise, by endlessly checking the media, that wastes so much of our time. And the authors of the book Make Time, they actually call it infinity pool. Infinity means that you basically have endless and endless surplus of information that is provided to you, and our brains crave it. I mean, remember, these apps are designed to kind of draw us in and for us, and suddenly you realize that you might be on an app and like 15 or 30 minutes of your time is simply gone. So if you want to create more time, delete the apps on your phone. My tip number 6 is clear your inbox. So the authors of the book suggest clearing your inbox on a weekly basis. I adopted that system, and basically all my email accounts are divided into the folders. So if I want to keep the email, they have a dedicated folder that I move them straight to. If I have to answer my emails, they stay in my main inbox. And then on a weekly basis, I clear my inbox completely. This looks very nice on the screen of your computer when everything is organized, and I love my organization as well. And it's basically saves you time because you don't have to stare at the different emails all the time. But the main thing I would really highly recommend is, once the lockdown started here in the UK, I actually decided I don't want to receive many newsletters. And I basically went through my all inboxes and said, I'm going to delete and unsubscribe from the mailing lists that I'm no longer interested. The bad habit is like you receive an email, it's irrelevant, and straight away you delete it and put it in your spam box. But then what's the point of even wasting your time dealing with it when you can just simply unsubscribe from the mailing list? This brings us to tip number 7, set up fake deadlines and use a timer. So often if we have an urgent deadline, we get the work done, because the Parkinson's law states work expands as to fill the time available for its completion. So basically, if you have an hour to complete the work, you will get it done. But if you have your deadline in 2 weeks' time, you will waste all those 2 weeks not doing much work for that project and then get it done right the day before. So why not give yourself fake deadlines of where you say, okay, this actually has to be done, and you will be surprised on how much time it actually saves you thinking about your work or project and actually just getting it done. The other thing you can do is to actually use a timer for your work. So let's say you have set your highlight of the day or you have a task to do. Why not to set a timer from 60 to 90 minutes? And the authors of the book, they actually created Make Time app with a very stylish timer. I really like it. That you can basically put on your desk so you know that there is an urgency for completing that task. And this trick does a lot of magic, and it will save you time throughout the day. Next tip, number 8, is have daily breaks to re-energize. We're all different and we have different needs, and it's important to realize again what works the best for you. So common things that can help you have breaks during your work is exercise, going for walks outside, meditation, drinking coffee or tea, etc., etc. And what you need to learn is when do you have your energy dips throughout the day. So I know as soon as I have lunch, and I think it's quite common for many people, I basically can't work. I'm so tired. So this is a good time for me usually to have coffee, maybe go for a walk, and then get back onto work again. And you need to learn what works best for you and just go for it and have a daily good routine and repeat all these little breaks because they accumulate, and it's important to look after your well-being. This brings us to my tip number 9, reflect at the end of the day. We all think that there is this generic magic daily routine that works for all of us, but it's important to realize that we're all unique and different things work for different people. Treat designing your daily routine as a scientific experiment. And for that, it's important to reflect at the end of the day. And again, this idea has been proposed by the authors of Make Time, and on their website, they provide a free template, which is quite nicely designed, which you can use to basically reflect on your day and to decide what works best for you. So you can work more productively and have more time to do things you truly enjoy. Please press the thumbs up for this video, press the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.